The Adelaide Club is probably the most distinguished Rotary club in South Australia, and probably in Australia. It has a great track record with people knowing about the Adelaide Club, Rotary Club, and having been just a member of that is fantastic. The experience around the tables and the knowledge that a lot of these people have from as Adelaide Rotarians is just so valuable, and but also some of the people that are honorary members and everything else. It's another level that we add to the Adelaide Club that makes it it makes it stand out, and I think and you feel very proud to be a member of the Adelaide Rotary Club. I've been a member for 20 years, and I think in those times we've seen some good changes. I think it's become much more relaxed and easy to feel comfortable at it. So I think they've done a lot more in terms of making new members feel very welcome, getting involved in committees and organisation. But I think they could do more. I think they could do a lot more mentoring with these people to really make them feel comfortable and get to know everybody, get to know some of the older members as well. But I think in some of the new changes, I think it is good, where we had business sessions or business discussions of people who've been successful in businesses talking about their experiences at the Adelaide Oval. At evening sessions just for an hour and a half, where they had drinks and canapes, but also listening to good speakers. I thought that was a new initiative that I thought was very good, and I'd like to see it continued. And also their fellowship meetings on Tuesday, I think, has also been very popular for people to be able to get up and talk about their experiences and their backgrounds, where they've come from, businesses they may have built, positions they may have held, the experience they have. And I think a lot of new members could learn a lot from this. I certainly have, because you can't buy that experience. But when you're talking to people who've been there, done it, it's fabulous. It rubs off on you, and you go home some nights from sessions feeling very motivated. I think what happens is that we think of Rotary as for older people, retirees, and it's not, because certainly in the Adelaide Club, that whole age thing has changed, the membership has changed. One of the things we should be looking at is looking at and talking, if we're getting new members, of what they want to get out of Rotary, as not only just giving and being involved in the projects that Rotary does, but also are they looking where they could be mentored by people who've got huge experience in business and could pass on some of that experience, but also be the mentor that they can talk to. It's like having a life coach, that if you're hitting off with people, they can come a bit of a life coach to you, because when you're building a business, and you feel like you're on your own, because, it's your decisions at the end of making these decisions, sometimes with the company and where it's going, especially if it's your business, and not a corporate business. So to have someone that's got all this experience, it would be nice to sit down, and I know so many people at the Adelaide Club that have got unique experiences over their lifetime, that it would be so valuable to have as a bit of a professional coach. So many things in life that you often would not take the time, and then you go, and I give an example when someone talked about the people that are homeless, and you don't even think, like, generally you're running around, you're so busy, you don't think about the homeless, and then someone gets up and gives you the stats on homelessness and the amount of people that are affected by it, and you think about Catherine House and Hutt Street, all the other places, and you go, oh my God. And then when you're taken there, or you meet the CEO, or the CEO talks about the numbers and what they're doing per night to look after people, and how many people are homeless in South Australia, it makes you, one, feel gratitude to your own lifestyle in a way, and your kids and everything else, but then it makes you also think about, maybe we're not doing enough with government and ourselves to help these people that are homeless. And sometimes you hear some horrific stories. They're eye-openers, but when you hear people talk about it and the numbers, it's scary, but it also is making you wake up and know that there are some really real issues under our own eyes at this stage that we're often not looking and seeing and being involved with. But when you do get involved, you suddenly feel a little bit better as a person, that you've been able to help someone or do something for somebody to or give something. I'm not the best Rotarian in terms of time, but I'm always there if they need me. If they feel like next week there's a thing on the Prospect versus Prospect Rotary thing for cricket, could you give a case, for an auction prize, and I would. I was very worried about my attendance as an individual member. And I remember saying to some of the Rotary members that, look, I might struggle with the attendance numbers required. And I was told not to worry about that because, we want you in and get involved in that. Well, within 6 months, I had a letter saying that my attendance was not good. And so I thought that, how do I get around this? And then I suggested to the committee that why don't look at a corporate membership for Phil Hoffmann Travel, where I could invite some other staff members to be involved, both as the team and coming individually as well. So when I couldn't be there, they could be there, or we could all be there together. And it's proved to be very successful because I had two members that got really involved, Joe McLaren, as most Rotarians would know, and Dean Brazier, and they really have grown through that experience of being involved as Phil Hoffmann Travel's corporate members, but also individually as well. And they've thrown themselves in, and I think they have grown through the experience of being involved in Rotary at every level. Joe McLaren being successful at winning a Paul Harris scholarship, and also, Paul Harris fellowship, and Dean Brazier becoming an executive board member at some stage. And having spoken to them just recently, they're still very much involved with Rotary. I think, Rotary is about giving time, giving, say, financial help where you can. And so Phil Hoffmann Travel as a company has done that, but also the individuals have given their time to be involved and do something that's, very worthy of what the sort of the causes are for. And then in our case, we also introduced a system where Rotary could earn money out of a royalty factor that we threw at the Adelaide Club for the very first time. Because I sat there one day and I'm going, and they'd say, oh, so-and-so is going to be away for 3 weeks. And a lot of them, I knew they were my clients anyway. And I said to the Adelaide Club, because I didn't think they'd jump at it. I said, look, these people are going and you could be getting a royalty out of it. I said, and the royalty was based on what we would spend on general marketing to all organisations. But suddenly they were happy to put us as a major sponsor, of the club. And then Maitland jumped at it because two of my girls worked here. Their parents are big Rotarians in Maitland. So all their business from Maitland comes down to this office. So they get a check, and then there's other clubs, that we've sort of said. So there's a spin-off on both directions. Also exciting that we can present the club each year with a substantial check for them to use any way they wish to. The younger person, the 35 to 50, it's that sort of pitch that I reckon that we've got to look at. Say my CEO would be an example. If I said to him about Rotary, he'd just go, boo-ha, I haven't got any time. But he'll do it in other things. So, how do you pitch the story that, there's a lot of learning from your members that you can get that helps you with your organisation. And sometimes too, it's also time out, that you've got the chance to, get out of your organisation, have a couple of hours with people. There's so many good stories that you hear, and they're in Rotary. But it's getting them out and getting guys to feel comfortable saying that, and saying, well, let me tell you my story. Everyone thinks your business just goes like that, but when you hear the true stories, which develops you with, the fortitude and everything else you need to get through, but also teaches you great lessons. And there's a lot of that and just bottled up in Rotary that we should get out.